originally doing this in a split screen, but I was having so many problems that although I probably could have done it, I got impatient. So I'm not doing the split screen, so I can't see my GPS, but I know where I'm going theoretically, so I just have to not miss a turn because I'm going to be in this direction for a hot minute, and I just need to pay attention to the street signs. How you doing, guys? So I just came back from a job interview. It's about a half an hour-ish commute for an 8-hour-a-day job. And it would be kind of a pay cut, but at the same time, it's a completely different kind of thing, right? And it wouldn't surprise me if I'm out of place there, maybe, just as a matter of my age or disposition kind of thing. But, we'll see, right? I mean, like, what the heck do they qualify anything for? So on and so forth. But despite it being kind of a long commute, and despite it being, going back to a wage from way back, I just may simply really like it because it's animal handling, right? It's an animal handling situation for dogs, right? And it's a dog daycare, grooming, etc. Right? That just like the idea. Oh, I get to wake up today and get paid to play with dogs. I can understand why that would not only be a pay cut, but why a simple person may want to do that. Because although I need to, have more, quote, money, I can't just think like that, right? I have to think along the lines of, do I feel right here? Does more than just my rational mind want the job because of X, Y, and Z things that I can rationalize are good reasons to have the job, but then deep down inside I'm not there, right? They make this eloquent point when they're talking about the zone in the movie Soul, right? Where you've got people that are doing that are like they're fulfilling their purpose, and it puts them in the zone. And people that obsess over their purpose without the enriching reward that comes with it. They will break pattern. Well, they break pattern to get out of it, but they go into that obsessive loop, and then they become like, it kind of puts the brain on automatic workaholic kind of thing, or you just kind of become somebody who does one thing aimlessly, right? So what's my point with all this? All right, when my life in 2016 was in a terrible mindset, in a terrible place. And I was struggling to find something that anybody would hire me without fucking needing to do things like test me for weed and and all that shit, you know. And I'm you know, in my late 30s, mid to late 30s at this point, right? Then I finally get like kind of a grueling, terrible job and a grocery store job. I get the car, I dive into Uber, and then like I just say fuck it because of who I am, and I go into Uber, and then I'm able to just have my regular life cycle, and then like I can just like wake up at the beginning of a day, and when I'm ready to go, I just go out, get in my car, turn the app on, start working, and then come home maybe 12 hours maybe later if I'm really on a grind about it, and I like all the fares that I'm being asked to take, so on and so forth. So while I'm doing this and I'm watching the world kind of going through this transition, as the paradigm is shifting on the national global level in things, and I'm very tuned in to all of that shit in real time, as I was still pretty heavy in Revolution Radio, conspiracy theories, so on and so forth. Hey, what's up, Saniko? Hey, as a moderator, you see Adriano Yazzie over there, who is being extraordinarily rude. If you want to do the thing and make him go disappear and anyone else being inappropriate, I'd appreciate it, my friend. Yeah. People think that it's cute because they look at a guy who is fucking live streaming and driving at the same time. People act like no one's ever fucking like had a fucking video call while driving before on a hands-free device, right? Nobody's ever fucking been in a car with like a group of people where the driver is fully participating in all the activities going on, you know, including keeping an eye on their phone anyway for navigation purposes. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. I've got a zero tolerance policy for people that are not interested in having an inspired conversation in the chat room in general. Let's see, I think this is the exit that I'm on, right? Yeah, there's the airport. Yep, I'm in the right spot. Yay. Yeah, look at that. Still there. Yeah, like, don't just, like, remove the... Don't even just remove the message. Like, I think you should have authority to hide them. To hide them from the channel. I made a mistake and I felt bad about it. Yesterday I was listening to Library of the Untold in the live stream, and I left the screen on the chat room, and then I put the phone in my pocket, and then one of the guys, I think it was one of the ladies there, I don't know what happened, but it hit her from the channel, from my moderator, because I'm a moderator on Library's channel. I felt so bad, and like 2 times I was just on the channel. That was a mistake. I am so sorry. It's happened once or twice. Thank you, Santika. You know, I comprehend why some other YouTubers, they don't want to go live like this, like just mobile in general, because a very unsupportive and trollish community in your chat group without moderators can be a jarring experience. Me, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the emergence of a jarring experience, to fight it off, right? To cultivate my own place that is going to be formidable for anyone to walk in, because that walk-in, they may be a problem, but they may also be an opportunity, right? It's kind of like, the alchemist in the Holy Mountain. You know, what does he do? He takes a fucking fish hook type of thing, and he puts his own shit that he's turned into gold on the fishhook thing, and he dangles it at the bottom of his fucking tower, and then a fucking psycho, you know, a guy fucking skitzing out on fucking, you know, all of the inversions of fucking living, wants to murder the man and rob him of gold. And so he has to fight him, neutralizes him, removes the parasite, and turns him into a student that then earns his tower. Meaning that he also earns the alchemy device for shitting your own gold, right? And so he makes him exceedingly fucking powerful, you know, and wise. For no other reason than he watched him grow and develop and mature, and perhaps be of even a higher degree of character than the men that he initiated a while ago, right? Because, you know, the other characters, as far as you can tell, are not necessarily good-natured people, right? You don't know if they all started like that guy, right? And what's my point about this? He's going through his own kind of paradigm shift. His values are shifting, right? So like my values are shifting because after a while, between my car breaking down and COVID doing what it was doing, I wasn't going to be a fucking rideshare person anymore. The demands of the public for what these networks do was being allowed to be as inhuman as the will of the clients. And it was no longer an economy that was supportive of a person who values the certain freedoms, liberties that I had prior. And to this day, despite us being so past the pandemic, it's just like I can't see a fucking Uber ad that doesn't have a fucking driver in a mask selling Uber as, don't worry, your driver will wear a mask. Even if that's not even a fucking policy on the app. Right? So, like, I don't know what it's actually like. I haven't fucking ordered an Uber in fucking forever. And I'm not allowed to be one. I think it's a permanent, you know, I think it's still a permanent ban. You know, and granted my PayPal ban was supposed to be permanent, but they undid that shit. Right? And they banned me on the fucking Social Security level. Like, I tried opening another account and they wouldn't let it happen. And then some period magically in 2022, they fucking gave me back my PayPal. What are you? You are Hee Slew? Whatever that is. Whatever you are. You're laughing at a thing. Let us know what you're laughing at. What's so funny? Why did they ban you? Well, because the reason why we don't have COVID restrictions now is because people like me made sacrifices in 2020 and 2021. And typically when you do that, when you do it the right way, over time, it reverberates in the time stream. Right? Because if you look at the narrative backed by the official science, right, that was still being supported as they were withdrawing COVID, they went against all that science and started withdrawing it because it wasn't working based on human factors they didn't want to admit and didn't want to admit were superseding, right? Yeah, I made, you know, most people, they can't, because they don't see anything bigger than themselves that wants them to be bigger than themselves. The only thing bigger than themselves that other people see are things that want them to be smaller than them. The government is bigger than me. You know, Mother Nature is bigger than me. Outer space is bigger than me, right? You know, it's all this stuff, and we take all these immense things, some of them that are materially, physically, literally immense, and we use that as a mind framing mechanism that we have to compare our value and our quote relative size to it, thus making us seem small and minuscule, right? This is the problem with having you know, having a certain kind of personalized relationship with the truest creator, right? Like the creator, right? We're not supposed to, you know, that's not the relationship we're supposed to have with this entity that we have to acknowledge and be in alignment with, and realize that it's actually a more awesome thing to be in alignment with it, and what that means, right? But then you have your personal gods, because that shapes more with the more personalized aspects of your smaller collectives, right? You know, being a Carpathian White, there's a slew of gods that make more sense within my blood code, genetics, my lineage, my culture, right? And then those work in a framework for unlocking the best in us intended by that higher force creator, right? Some people, and I'm trying not to say this in a way that lessens things, because in comparative mythology, they try to liken the higher order of angels as the gods under the creator, right? But that's not true, because angels are spirits, right? Just like Odin has his Valkyries, whoever the original pagan god was, that we get the character of Jehovah and his messengers, right? That's still spirits, right? Because they took a personal god or a more tribal god, and they gave all of its traits, because that's in there as that god's traits in the Old Testament Bible, applied that to a hybridization with Jupiter from Rome, and then said that that's like the power of the oversoul, like the all of the creator, right? So you see this hodgepodge mess, which gives us a terrible fucking relationship with quote God, which then takes the quote term God and puts it specifically into the Jehovah concept, right? And so, you know, like, where otherwise saying God as implying the creator, the higher force, it now sours it, because it's hard to hear it without the cringing context of usually hearing it by people that mean this archon that wants to make you less of a person in comparison to its pureness and its greatness, and right, and it became designed as an absolute standard of the unattainable, because that's something that they took away to make these pagan type of gods work, right? At least they forced that messaging into the wrong context about what is happening with the characterization of the Elohim in the Old Testament, or El, or Yahweh in the Old Testament, so on and so forth, right? I don't even think they called him Jehovah, but some English translations use Jehovah instead of Yahweh in their English translations, when Jehovah is just the you know, it's just a it's like they basically came up with Jehovah as an offshoot of Jove, which is like a Latinization of Jupiter slash Zeus, right? Or I don't. sorry, people shift how they are between different gods and things that should stay connected most of the rest of this trip, because that's just a weird spot for blackouts. So I'm very close to home now. And like the reason why I'm talking about my career, operationals or whatever, is like I'm also talking, I'm sharing a little bit that like my thinking about what I'm trying to accept for work now has changed after going through the thing where I lost the ride share, and then I came back up into like I was like the better part of 9 months in 2021 to 2022 of not being capable of, I wasn't hireable in any capacity, shape, or form at all. And that broke me down into going and changing, into the physical activity side of things, the physique side of things, and, transformation that anybody who's known me more than 4 years has had the experience of seeing me come through, pop up in this way, and all the different things that have happened in my demeanor, my speech patterns, my posture, my tone of voice, my subject matter, and this is a wild difference from other people my age that haven't changed in 4 years at all, right? People that don't change, they only put out enough energy to hold the self that they like at that period of time, and they're afraid to let go of it, right? And so I go back to old friends, showing them how I, because it's the thing where I've changed but not really changed, because it's not like I'm like, oh man, fuck metal. Metal was holding me back. No, I'm fucking still metal. So I go back to the scene. Let's go see my old fucking friends, right? And now, like, although my musical credentials aren't impressive, my personal credentials are impressive. The way I carry myself, represent myself, represent what I've done, has all come into the... Slick, what's up, Slick? Oh, that was you that said bestowed. Okay, I thought that was Nico. See, my eyes aren't fucking distracted by the road. I couldn't even see my boy Slick to say hi. I just learned today that paradigm in Greek means vivid pattern. That tickled my fancy because the Enneagram is my choice. Right, yeah, paradigm. I think that the word axiom is a word that's good, important, and matters. The Axiom was the name of the mothership in the WALL-E film, and so the people living on the Axiom were the embodiment of living in one axiom, because they were all following the orders suggested and set into place by I would say that it's not really AI. Right, I'd say like WALL-E and like the Chickbot and all that are AI, and I would like AI in the truer sense, but then like the stuff that's just set on an irrational program to argue with the fucking captain and shit, that's more of what I call or it's, what? I heard this first in Mass Effect, because in the Mass Effect game, there had to be an explanation for the difference between what the sentient androids were called, that were synthetic life forms that had their own autonomy, and then of course the big alien squid dudes that are the big bad of the series, right? And they are also their own life form. And so they had it was like synthetic intelligence, I think what it was. So it's like SI versus AI. Synthetic intelligence is what you're actually get, like when you're fucking going to fucking ChatGPT and all that, all the AI that are talking about right now, it's all synthetic intelligence, right? um so like it's a very complex learning algorithm. It's this, that, and the other thing. But it takes but everything has to be initiated uh by a human being, um in general. And even if they're using synthetic intelligence in a seemingly automatic way, there's ultimately a human being that has asked it to run a protocol operation, which it can respond to with complex things, but all those complex things it's responding to are yet still on the automatic, right? Um, it might seem to mimic something you might see in insect life, I suppose, because of hive consciousness, stuff like that. But that is what I would say is, quote, synthetic intelligence. It's just a very, very smart, not autonomous thinking machine. And that's how you explained all the interactive and helpful computers that are utilized by all of the sentient races that are operating within the galaxy. And then artificial intelligence is that singularity distinction of the actual autonomously thinking machine, something that has an actual like digital soul of some sort, right? And can demonstrate it, can demonstrate feelings, even if it's a highly logical collective mindset, like the Geth. The Geth is the name of the race that has factions that are evil, factions that are good within the Geth, because they have their own free will. You just can't tell, because they often like to be in agreement and show their demonstration of their rationalized logical agreements by and large, right? It's just very interesting the way the whole that they very well um, demonstrate to you actually turned out to be. Um, it's fascinating how a thing where I'm really trying to make more of a point about how my personal life is changing is really keeps going back and forth with our relationship with God at the same time, in a funny way. Um, as a best example, which is good because, I want to put these principles into thought. Um, right? Because before then, I had a different mindset. It was a different mindset at what I thought I needed to do right then and there to pursue my dream. What was kind of like my spark and my purpose, like the movie Soul. They talk about your spark and then they talk about your purpose, and the film makes a point about that being mixed up with a lot of people, right? That you confuse your purpose with your spark, especially if your purpose and your spark are like the same thing, right? Like the main character, his purpose and his spark were the same thing. He had a spark for music and his purpose was to play music. Some people, their purpose is to play music, but it's not their spark, which can be very odd. And then vice versa, where their spark is music, but they're not meant to play it. Or at least they're not meant to like make a life to do it here in this world, like as like the thing, right? Because everybody's supposed to have like a thing where they fit, they're loved and supported, and way more opportunities than just thinking about career and income and stuff matter, right? Because of what we have in human connection, right? And it's very important to remember, no matter what you're jumping into and work, are you getting the sufficient human connection that you want out of it? Are you working around people that you like? And is it a job that you can do and like to do and can improve upon? And that doesn't have to be like the most extravagant of things, right? And this has a lot to do with helping other people that maybe just have an adversity to it because they're more of the artist type. Because a lot of the artist type people and other kinds of people that maybe grew up with all sorts of bad habits that they were grown up with and have to ease themselves into things, evolve themselves into things. The spiritual and physical are connected when you want to change the world to what you want. Yeah, absolutely. They're connected, and they're connected through the mind. The mind bridges that gap, right? This is why the mind is all, right? Because like we're living and experiencing in the heart, but the way we're set up, we need the mind to kind of help us understand things in context to what our heart needs, and to make a rational comprehension of what we're sensing and registering within our senses, and just the entire manner in which on the subtle energy level our bodies, that's the physical, mind is comprehending things and reacting to things. Point out how the term AI, the A is the pyramid, right, okay, and the I is surveillance, right, and the A alphanumerically is the one, because the pyramid does also have its association to being the axis mundi, right, the fire in the middle at the same time, right, which is also what pyramid means. Damn Calvinist ethos on the dollar. Anagram, the Allure D. I see what you're saying there. Hey, what's up, Nicholas Burnett? Yeah. So I didn't think in any primary way about work and about work supporting me. I thought that I was going to I thought I was in situations with musicians that were going to put in enough of the time that like reasonably within a year we were going to like have like an initial good first showing of ourselves. Here's like a 3-track demo to put out, and and here we are, playing gigs, and we got actually like 6 songs, but here's the 3 that are ready to go, and here's our fucking photo packages and all that stuff, and then having all of that behind us and me in my flow doing what I'm doing in the music, like us as a band, we were gonna have the level of success that we were asking for, where there'd be a little bit coming in and happening, for you, and then there'd be a level of economic ease and play off of each other, and capable to develop and focus. Right. I wasn't asking to be like unreasonably successful. I was asking for what you usually see in success when a band puts the hard work in for a year solid and produces a product. Right? And then that would have been different. So me and a 16-year-old boy saw Lamb of God, Mastodon, and Kerry King this week. Whoo! Oh, that's cool. I haven't heard new Lamb of God in a while. A lot of new Lamb of God I felt was so like polished that like it wasn't like grabbing me. Right? You know what I mean? Mastodon is always fucking sick. I've loved them since Crack the Sky, really. And Kerry King, fucking A with Kerry King. I haven't heard any of Kerry King's solo work. I mean, Kerry King is he's definitely a very visceral guitar player. But I'm used to hearing these Kerry King solos that are just like, it's just a pure thrash, like, solo, not designed to be technical. It's just designed to whip you into a fucking frenzy in an artistic way, and it's great stuff. It's great stuff. It's a special kind of thing. What's up, Theo? What's up, Crispy Space Agency? Ashes of the Wake and Leviathan. Yeah. Kerry King brought it hard. His singer was awesome. Okay, yeah, I got. So it's Kerry King's band named after him, I guess, right? And then he's got a singer. Does his is he doing what Zakk Wylde does, where his singer sounds like the band that he comes from? You know, like Zakk Wylde himself just sounds kind of like Ozzy, and is kind of done like, I think he's done a little bit of the masking, and he's done some of the primary singing on albums, I think. Uh, but you know, and Jerry Cantrell has been trying to be a voice that, because he did backup singing in Alice, so like, you know, his voice is definitely designed to harmonize with Lane Staley, right? And so it still feels very Alice in Chains, almost right, feels almost right with Lane Staley solo. All right, well, that's cool. That's cool. I'm gonna try and see Opeth in October. Um, you know, I might try and see them with a friend from out of state, and so I may go down south to catch them a little bit, depending how far. Or I may go up north, like Massachusetts. I'm hoping to go to Massachusetts because A, that's the closest for me. B, it's the only of the three venues within reasonable commuting distance in a short period of time, especially if I'm working by that point. You know, to see a show at a venue that's got a pit, because Opeth is going to be playing two fucking fancy ass venues like Heilung, where there's no fucking standing room to mosh. But the Worcester Palladium that they're playing, I think on October 16th, does have a pit. So, you know, and if they're going to be playing new shit, and the new album is going back to like form like Ghost Reveries or some shit, which it's promising to sound like at this point, then I'm assuming that there's going to be heavy in the show. And I'm assuming that if I go to these fancy venues, that it's going to be more like Deliverance and shit, like, or was it Damnation? I think Damnation was the softer album, right? Or just Incata Venenum, the newer albums, which I'm down with it. But I've already seen both heavy and classical Opeth, and I'm going to be like everyone else and say, okay, I've heard my classical Opeth, I want to hear some heavy Opeth. Throw a few of the classical soundings in there, you know, because I definitely want to hear some of Incata Venenum. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, live. That shit's wicked. Anyway, pit is ideal. Yeah, my son broke his mosh chair. For a second, I thought something horrible happened to him. It was adorable watching him headbang with the Metal Family. Okay, yeah, his moshing. Did he get the experience of falling down and being picked up before he got scared? You know, that whole situation before somebody trampled him. Some awesome person said, "Oh man, little man's down in the pit." Zippo tricking is my best meditation technique. Ha! I think I understand what you're talking about there. Oh yeah, I remember fidget spinners. That's why I'm playing with my fucking torch lid. Yeah, I didn't really get a fidget spinner. It like, I thought they were neat. I thought there was a very cool physics principle that maybe somebody was going to learn something from. And then there was a lot of like psychoanalytic conspiracy theorists that talked about fidget spinners as a phenomenon, and some of them going a little bit into rabbit hole territories of, okay, what are they doing trying to manipulate us with these fidget spinners now, right? There's a lot of that going on. Yeah. It's fucking a wrestler. He was good. Oh, okay, that's cool. Well, anyway, I got a friend coming over in 20 minutes, and I got to go take care of some stuff here in the house. So I'm going to catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm working on getting a couple of interviews on the channel. And after I've gone through some personal reading, I'll have a few ideas for videos, and I got like at least one idea that I want to do and run it as a conversation on Greyhorn Pagans, and I had chit chat with Stein, and I got to throw that up on the thing after I've prepared my my study notes, and so that way I know I'm going to be on point because I have to review some stuff. So I'll talk about what that is in the near future. And Theo, we're going to make you a manager. All right. Catch you guys later.